I'm Lisa Zembrodt, Principal of Sustainability Business of Schneider Electric. Sustainability in Schneider has long been core to our purpose and core to our organization. It's really embedded throughout our organization. Every employee has access to our Schneider Sustainability School, for example. We're all understanding of our Schneider Sustainability Index as well, which is tracking our progress towards our sustainability targets. I think wider across Australia, the elevation of sustainability as a topic is coming as a result of the mandatory disclosure. So because company directors are essentially personally liable for what will be disclosed to market, it's really taking that conversation into the boardroom, where previously it might have not been one of those top risks. But we've seen as time has moved on, it's become a greater topic, a more important focus. And as a result, what we're doing now is helping to educate boards around their gaps from where they are today to where they need to be to disclose effectively and to be compliant in the future. And what that is also giving is an entire program and an understanding of the effort and the investment required to report and disclose appropriately. The Australian sustainability reporting standards are actually aligned with some of the global frameworks that already exist that many large organizations, particularly global organizations, would be familiar with. They're aligned with the Task Force on Climate-Related Financial Disclosures, often known as the TCFD. So they're not brand new. Many would be quite familiar with the structure of the sustainability reporting standards, which are really focused on companies disclosing the governance around climate-related risks and opportunities, identification of those risks, how they're going to manage those risks, the strategies around taking advantage of the opportunities and mitigating those risks, and really disclosing as well all around the targets and the metrics that folks have in place. Early days, assurance requirements are quite light. And I think that's in part to ensure that companies get accustomed to providing this type of data with a level of comfort around it, particularly for some companies who are newer to this, who might still be quite large but haven't really disclosed this level of information to the market before. Giving them the comfort that there won't be civil penalties at the very beginning is quite good for companies, so that they are more willing to disclose these. Only the ASIC body will have the ability to litigate in the early days. But assurance becomes quite important later in the staggered rollout of ASRS. And this is really important because this is information that investors and others are relying on. So at some point it must be assured. And a critical aspect to being able to do that is a data management platform, of course, because we see lots of companies today that are still using spreadsheets to collect all of this data. And for someone to go through and understand all the calculations in hundreds of spreadsheets is quite a task. Rather, using a centralized ESG data platform is quite an efficient but also effective way to ensure you've got good data to report on. The thing to know about the Australian sustainability reporting standards is that it's likely not going to stop there, right? This is the first step in a journey, and we can look to other jurisdictions for some ideas of where it might go next. So many companies and jurisdictions are moving now into nature or biodiversity financial disclosures as well, because we know very well that the ecosystem in which we operate has an impact on our financial outcomes. So for example, if you are in agriculture and there's a drought or there's not enough pollinators, then it has an impact on your outcome and your yields. So it's really important that companies start to combine these, but starting with the financial disclosures that we have in Australia, very much focused solely on climate change. And it's a great place to start. Ultimately, the liable parties are the company directors. So just like any other part of your financial statement pack, the sustainability report will now be part of that annual financial statement package. And as a result, the company directors are who will ultimately sign off, just like they would the financial statements.